Gaza health officials say that an Israeli airstrike killed 8 people near a market in central part of the territory. According to the Civil Defense Agency, 8 individuals were killed at the Nuseirat refugee camp in central Gaza. A 7.3 magnitude earthquake struck southern Mexico and parts of Central America, with a tsunami alert briefly issued for a stretch of the Pacific coast. President Donald Trump has threatened to impose new tariffs on Canada after hundreds of wildfires have left much of the northern U.S. choked by a blanket of smoke. There are currently over 880 fires actively burning in Canada. Rescuers continue search and rescue efforts following a deadly landslide in the southwestern China. At least 8 people were killed and 34 are still missing. West Indies cricket legend Garfield Sobers dies at the age of 89. Tributes pour in for Sobers, who was widely regarded as the greatest all-rounder of all time. Hostilities between the United States and Iran continued overnight Friday into Saturday, while both sides exchanged heavy fire, leaving the strategic Strait of Hormuz virtually closed. The two sides risked further escalation by expanding their targets to include critical infrastructure. The U.S. struck bridges inside Iran, while Tehran responded by hitting American targets across the Gulf. Iran also struck a power and desalination plant in Kuwait on Friday. Iran's army claimed to strike U.S. military targets in both Kuwait and Jordan in response to the American attacks. In Kuwait, Iranian forces targeted an ammunition depot at Camp al-Adiri, as well as headquarters buildings, ammo depots at the Ali al-Salem air base, and several communication bridges. In Jordan, fuel tanks at the Al-Azraq air base were targeted, according to reports from the state broadcaster. Now, these attacks came after the U.S. launched strikes for the 7th consecutive night. U.S. Central Command stated these operations were intended to continue degrading Iranian military capabilities. Iranian media reported explosions rocking several provinces in the south of the country. One report said that the U.S. strikes killed 3 people and wounded 8 others in the southern province of Hormuzgan. Well, shortly after those U.S. strikes were announced, 5 explosions were heard in the central city of Yazd. Earlier footage broadcast by Iranian state media showed 2 destroyed bridges in Hormuzgan province. Iranian state media said that at least 5 bridges had been struck in the south. CENTCOM also released a video showing strikes on a maritime surveillance tower at Iran's Khalantari port along its Gulf of Oman coastline. CENTCOM said the tower had been used by RGC to track and target commercial vessels transiting the Strait of Hormuz. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard say that 2 oil tankers passing through the Strait of Hormuz struck mines and exploded. The guards also claimed to have stopped 4 ships attempting to transit the strategic waterway. According to marine traffic data, 6 vessels transited the critical waterway in the past 24 hours. Now, Tehran is threatening to escalate further. Reports also say that Iran has asked Yemen's Houthis to stand ready to close the Red Sea oil route if the U.S. strikes Iranian power infrastructure. Houthis have said it had to have completed preparations to attack shipping by deploying missiles and drones near the Bab el-Mandab Strait, the gateway to the Red Sea. Meanwhile, a top Iranian commander warned that Iran will resume full-scale offensive operations if U.S. strikes continue over the coming days. While talking to state media agency IRIB, Major General Mohsen Razai declared that Iran will no longer limit itself to retaliatory like-for-like responses and no political border will be safe. Now, dense wildfire smoke from Canada and northern Minnesota have set off unhealthy air quality alerts across the United States, triggering concern over the weekend's World Cup final outside New York. Well, President Donald Trump has lashed out at Canada, calling the pollution totally unacceptable, and has warned of fresh tariffs. Well, with more than 200 fires burning out of control, dense smoke across parts of the United States has reached hazardous levels. According to tracker IQ Air, Detroit remained the most polluted city in the world, while Washington and Chicago were not far behind. Satellite images show smoke billowing down from Canada. Forecasters warn that winds could bring more smoke into the Northeast, but organizers say that they were monitoring conditions closely. Now, the officials have warned against spending unnecessary time outside.
I would say stay inside, especially if you have asthma. My dog has a doctor's appointment tomorrow, and we actually canceled it because my ride is my aunt, and she's got asthma. So a lot of things have to be changed around because of it.
In New York and neighboring New Jersey, where the World Cup football final will be played on Sunday, the metro area was experiencing air that could be unhealthy for sensitive groups. An improvement after smog on Thursday made the Manhattan skyline barely visible. The National Weather Service warned that the smoke may thicken overnight into Saturday morning. White House World Cup Task Force Executive Director Andrew Giuliani said that the tournament organizers are monitoring closely, and meteorologists have suggested that winds over the Great Lakes could push more smoke into the Northeast, which could keep skies hazy. Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump threatened tariffs against Canada, blaming it for the wildfires. In a post on Truth Social, Trump said the U.S. was being invaded by filthy, polluted, and unhealthy air since Canada was unable to maintain their forests. He said he would call Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney to find out what they are going to do about the smoke. Now, Trump added that the cost of the pollution would be added to the tariffs Canada is currently paying. Now, the wildfire smoke has forced residents to wear masks. Experts suggest that fine pollution particles from wildfires are particularly impactful on the lungs, whereas vehicle pollution skews slightly towards heart impacts.
What we're seeing, especially on the eastern seaboard, is that these Canadian wildfires, and because of just wind currents, are having significant impacts on people's ability to be outside for any period of time. Even a few minutes can cause somebody that might have underlying lung disease to have an exacerbation. Even if you're otherwise healthy, this can cause reactions. So this is impacting everybody.
On Friday, Canadian authorities reported that the blazes worsened in Ontario, and though the fires have not caused any casualties, several remote communities have been evacuated as dozens of aircraft battled to contain the fire. Meanwhile, 16 active fires were burning in the Superior National Forest on Minnesota's border with Canada. And India's first private orbital rocket, Vikram-1, is all set for launch. The rocket will lift off from the Satish Dhawan Space Center in Sriharikota, Andhra Pradesh at 11:30 a.m. local time. While standing 22 meters tall, Vikram-1 marks a major milestone for India's emerging private space sector. And the launch is a big step forward for the country's commercial space ambitions. The multi-stage launch vehicle is capable of carrying satellites weighing up to 350 kilograms of low Earth orbit. The rocket has been built with an all-carbon composite structure and is powered by indigenously developed propulsion systems. Vikram-1 will carry multiple technology demonstration payloads, including Skyroute's in-house satellite payload called SCOPE. It is designed to validate onboard spacecraft telemetry, communications, and mission navigation technologies. A specialized Earth observation nanosatellite called Solaris S3 is also on board Vikram-1. An innovative robotic arm embrace and a microsatellite technology demonstration payload are also on board. Now, this will be the first time a privately designed and developed orbital class rocket attempts to fly from Indian soil. The mission will also mark India's first attempt to place a privately built rocket into orbit. Vikram 1 has been developed by Hyderabad-based Skyroot Aerospace. The company was founded in 2018 by former ISRO engineers Pawan Chandana and Nag Bharat. This will be Vikram 1's maiden flight. As a test mission, it is designed to validate the rocket systems under real spaceflight conditions.
ठीक है
Now, Japan was once known for its relentless corporate warrior culture, where long hours, strict bosses, and unwavering loyalty define the workplace. But now, a Tokyo company is reviving elements of that old-school work ethic, and surprisingly, it's attracting young Gen Z employees who believe tougher workplaces help them grow. The trend is reigniting a debate over productivity, workplace culture, and whether Japan's next generation is ready to embrace discipline over comfort. Take a look at us next report for more on this. For decades, Japan has tried to move away from its reputation for grueling work culture, embracing better work-life balance, and greater attention to employee well-being after years of concerns over overwork and mental health. But at one Tokyo-based company, the clock appears to have turned back. Every morning, employees gather in a circle, chant motivational slogans, shout encouragement to one another, and deliver impromptu speeches designed to build confidence and resilience. The high-energy rituals have gone viral online, attracting young recruits who believe modern workplaces have become too relaxed.
In most regular companies, first thing in the morning, people commuting are like, "Ugh, this is such a drag," and it's just a half-hearted good morning and the clatter of keyboards. But here, right from the start, there's this big sharp kickoff like, bang, everyone, let's get to work. Experiencing that in person, I just thought this really is great.
For these employees, strict feedback, discipline, and constant motivation are viewed as tools for personal growth, rather than signs of a toxic workplace.
I feel like they're really getting mad because they're confronting me seriously about something I did wrong. That's why I've never once thought of it as power harassment or moral harassment. Actually, I see it as a form of love. If anything, I think a workplace where nobody tells you when you're doing something wrong is the scariest.
The trend comes at a time when Japan's workplace culture is undergoing a major shift. According to RecruitWorks Institute, 64% of middle managers say they scold subordinates only a few times a year. Another survey by job platform MyNavi found that around half of Japanese workers in their 20s and 30s describe themselves as mentally disengaged or quiet quitting. Supporters of the tougher approach argue that excessive caution and fear of offending colleagues have reduced motivation and accountability. Critics, however, warn that such environments can encourage unnecessary pressure and revive practices Japan has spent years trying to leave behind after high-profile cases linked to overwork.
One of the biggest challenges facing Japanese companies today is that young employees are leaving too soon. Companies hire young workers, but those employees then choose to leave for another company. They're not being laid off. The decision is entirely their own. When that happens, all the money the company spent on recruiting and training them essentially goes down the drain. That's why many companies now see retaining young employees as one of their most important management challenges.
The company behind the viral culture says it is not trying to revive every aspect of Japan's old corporate system. Its CEO argues that discipline, teamwork, and resilience from the country's post-war Showa era helped drive economic growth, but acknowledges that excessive overtime and neglect of mental health should remain in the past. The debate reflects a broader question facing Japan's economy. As labor shortages grow and workplace expectations evolve, can companies strike the right balance between employee well-being and a culture that encourages ambition, accountability, and higher productivity? Business Bureau Report, WION World is One. Cricket is in mourning as one of its greatest icons, Garfield Sobers, has died at the age of 89. The West Indies legend is widely regarded as the greatest all-rounder of all time. Cricket West Indies confirmed the news on Friday, saying a great innings has come to an end. Sobers would have turned 90 on 28th of July. He played 93 test matches for the West Indies between 1954 and 1974, scoring over 8,000 runs and taking 235 wickets, a rare double that defined his all-round genius. Sobers retired in 1974 at the age of 38, just before West Indies won the first World Cup in 1975. He is best remembered for two iconic records. The first came in 1958, when his unbeaten 365 against Pakistan stood as the highest individual test score for 36 years, until Brian Lara broke it in 1994. And in 1968, playing for Nottinghamshire, he became the first batter in the first-class cricket to hit 6 sixes in a single over. The International Cricket Council awards the Sir Garfield Sobers Trophy to the Men's Cricketer of the Year. Tributes are pouring in from across the cricket world. The Indian Cricket Board hailed Sobers as a true icon of the game. The BCCI posted a video of him interacting with Indian players Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli during the tour of the West Indies in 2023. Well, while the world gears up for FIFA World Cup final between Argentina and Spain on Sunday, there is one more game left to be played. England and France face off in the third-place match later today in Miami. It might not be a game of much significance when compared to the World Cup final, and England head coach Thomas Tuchel isn't too excited about the match. Well, nobody of the French players wants to play for this match, and they want to play in the final. We gave everything to be in the final. Everyone plays to win the World Cup, but it is what it is. So this is what the head coach of England had just said. Despite Tuchel's apparent disinterest, the race for the Golden Boot is still very much alive. And when it comes to the individual awards, this match is treated like any other in the tournament. The goals and assists in the game will count in the race of the Golden Boot. Kylian Mbappe, Harry Kane, and Jude Bellingham are all in the race to win the prestigious prize. France comes into the clash after having been outplayed by Spain in the semi-final. France were title favorites, and they will definitely be disappointed with missing out on the final. But a third straight finish on the podium is still an impressive feat for Mbappe and company. Well, as for England, it was the same old story in the semi-final as Argentina once again broke their hearts, but the Three Lions have the chance to finish third for the first time ever. Well, apart from winning the title in 1966, their best finish is fourth, having lost their previous two third-place playoffs in 2018 and 1990. Or for decades, pregnancy news of Indian female stars have followed a predictable pattern. She would make an announcement, congratulations would pour in, but eventually speculation about a possible pause in her career would arrive. Well, this usually follows the recurring headlines, when will she make her comeback? Well, from Aishwarya Rai Bachchan to Kareena Kapoor Khan, the industry lexicon has historically witnessed pregnancy as an intermission moment for a female star. And this female superstar usually gets a grand comeback moment after giving birth to a child. But lately, various female stars have opted not to take the same old route. Deepika Padukone, who has entered her third trimester, is currently on set, wrapping up high-octane action sequences and managing multi-million-dollar production schedules. Instead of stepping away from the camera, she is gearing up to prepare for a multi-year hiatus. In doing so, she isn't just preparing for a new chapter in her personal life, she's deleting the word comeback from her routine, since she has not taken her long pause yet. Now, to understand the significance of this shift, the one only has to look at the recent past. For the longest time, the film industry viewed a leading lady's career through the lens of a strict biological clock. When Aishwarya Rai Bachchan took a break following the birth of her daughter in 2011, her eventual return to Jazba was packed entirely around the novelty of her return. Just 10 years ago, Kareena Kapoor Khan's pregnancy was treated as a beautiful but distinct pause before her grand re-entry in Viredi wedding. The underlying systemic implication was clear. Marriage and motherhood shifted a female star out of her usual roster. Meanwhile, the new generation of female stars are not winding down, but accelerating. They're establishing a new paradigm. Motherhood has a continuation, not a pause or interruption. Yami Gautam shot intense portions of Article 370 during her pregnancy. Even while carrying her first child, she shot for the movie Huck, where her character was scripted to be pregnant. And later, she was also seen promoting her husband's movie Dhurandhar, where she enjoyed a cameo. When Alia Bhatt completed rigorous shoots for her Hollywood debut, Heart of Stone, during her pregnancy, while carrying her first child, Bhatt was seen promoting her film Brahmastra with her husband Ranbir Kapoor. In the Telugu film industry, Samantha Ruth Prabhu shot for Ma Inte Bangaram. During her pregnancy, director Nandini Reddy revealed that Prabhu filmed portions of the high-energy wedding song and an intense car chase sequence during the early stages of a pregnancy. Shraddha Kapoor's upcoming film, Eta, will be based on folk dancer Rattabhai Bao. The film will chronicle a famous real-life incident where Rattabhai went into labor mid-performance, delivered her baby backstage, and prepared to finish her show. Now, these ladies are not going to that extreme, but they are not stepping out either. Well, by refusing to step out of the frame during their pregnancy period, the new women force of the film industry have started a work culture evolution. The word comeback has largely retired. It removes the implicit penalty the movie industry has placed on women for having lives outside the walls of the studio. All right, with that, we call a wrap to World Day for today. News and updates will follow on the other side of a very short break. Now, defending champions Argentina take on Spain in the 2026 FIFA World Cup final on 19th of July. Just a reminder to our viewers in India that you can watch the final match live on Z5. Tune in and don't miss the biggest night in football live.
Get the latest updates, breaking news, credible, clear, continuous, experts across aisles, diverse voices, one platform. WION World is one.
The Israeli drone is above our heads all the time in Lebanon. More than 200,000 civilian homes have been destroyed. This looks like it used to be a toy for a little girl. Can't but wonder while I'm walking between all of this rubble, how many lives were destroyed, how many kids were traumatized, how many women lost their families. If this isn't a war crime, then what is? From the southern suburb of Beirut, I'm Radi Francis for WION World is One.
Pakistan-occupied Kashmir erupts again from Rawalakot to Muzaffarabad. Demonstrators challenge Islamabad like never before. Will there be an end to political repression, economic neglect, and military interference? Bangladesh battles one of its deadliest floods. At least 54 people have died in monsoon-related incidents, while more than 1 million people have been affected and thousands displaced. And we take you to West Afghanistan, where female dress code crackdown is hitting businesses. All this and much more with me, Kripa, on Inside South Asia.
From roads that don't just carry traffic, but talk to the cars driving on them. To artificial intelligence helping an artist defy the limits of ALS. From AI systems guiding rescuers through disaster zones where every second counts, to the next generation of robots that don't just move but express, respond, and connect. The future of technology isn't just getting smarter, it's changing how we live. All this and more in this episode of Tech It Out at These Times. The Mini Cooper S will bring zest into your life. The BSA Scrambler is one heck of a good-looking ride. A content creator needs all the tools of the trade.
That's where you're wrong.
It's not?
No,
it looks like a headphone.
It's a fan.
But the secret to going fast on track remains much the same.
Slow is smooth and smooth is fast.
Catch Diksha's wire-to-wire win in a go-kart race, our shenanigans in a Mini Cooper S, and a morning ride on a retro bike. All these stories and more in this week's episode of WION Drive at These Times.
On Wings this week, we cover hostilities, a trend on the rise in India. Also, how tourists flock to Kashmir's Dal Lake, even as the region struggles with its water resources. We also cover the unique wedding festival in North Macedonia. Only on WION, The World is One.
In this rapidly changing world, is your health keeping pace? Best practices and breakthroughs busting the hype with real insights. The timeless power of yoga and ancient healing. Good food, good mood. Small steps, big impact. Your health matters. Only on WION World is One. Because nothing matters more.
Campaigns, elections, alliances, controversies, and power play. Stories that analyze global and domestic politics. A dedicated show with varied perspectives, expert take, citizens' voices, detailed ground reports, and in-depth coverage from political corridors of the world. This is Race to Power, only on WION.
Thanks for staying with us. You're watching WION World is One. I'm Adhya Juneja. Let's start by looking at the headlines. A senior advisor to Iran's supreme leader has warned that Tehran will enter a phase of full-scale offensive if the US continued attacks for another 2 or 3 days. The warning from Major General Mohsen Riazi came as the US forces struck Iran for 7th straight day. US military says it has concluded latest wave of strikes on Iran, adding that it hit targets aimed at degrading Iranian military capabilities. Well, these included surveillance sites, military logistics infrastructure, underground weapons storage, and maritime capabilities. tracking